Thank you, Mr. Miller. I'll now recognize Ms. Moore of Wisconsin.
I just want to thank the chairman, the ranking member, and all of the witnesses who have appeared here today. I just want to reflect on 1995 when I was a state senator in Wisconsin, and the Honorable Governor Tommy G. Thompson ended welfare as we know it. And of course, we know that then President Clinton and Newt Gingrich agreed with it. They ended welfare, we know it. And so for the first time since the Social Security Act was put in place, the guarantee that we gave to people 5 years old and 6 years old and 3 months old, that baby, no matter what the employment condition is with your parents, no matter if somebody is in jail or out of work, baby, we are not going to let you starve. We're not going to let you be outdoors. We broke that promise to babies right then. And I was at the scene of the crime when it happened. I had 100 amendments that could have fixed TANF, the successor program at that point. But, it was very hard to do given the deliberate buildup of ending support to little children had started like back in the 60s. And it was all based on a big lie that Ronald Reagan pushed with a fictional character, this welfare queen who was riding a Cadillac and eating lobster dinners and had 80 names, 30 addresses, 15 telephone numbers, Social Security and VA benefits from 4 deceased fictional husbands. And didn't mention the kids. And nowadays, it's some white dude that's in his parents' basement playing Call of Duty all day. And so we have built the audience to treat this program like it's all waste, fraud, and abuse. Well, I'll tell you, I see that the GAO has identified areas of waste, fraud, and abuse that are here. How about the $4.5 trillion worth of tax giveaways that we're about to pass through this committee? Republicans have perpetuated these boogeyman lies, but if they really want to find the boogeyman, they ought to look at people like the former great NFL quarterback who was able to build a volleyball court based on the flexibility that we gave states. And indeed, a lot of this money, as some of my colleagues here have pointed out, have not gone into intervening in the poverty of these 6-month-old babies, but it's gone into building a huge bureaucracy of people who chase poor people around and berate them all day. You had a chance, as Ms. Chu indicated, to do something with closing the loop so that the Brett Favres of the world wouldn't happen. You guys wouldn't take that up. Last week, the Trump administration fired everybody in TANF, everybody, the whole Department of Health and Human Services, including the lead staffer for TANF. How are you going to improve this program or deliver services to 6-month-old Joey with no staff? Additionally, your reconciliation bill includes cutting the TANF block grant and eliminating the social services block grant. And I heard you, Ms. Summerlot, talk about how you help seniors with this, Meals on Wheels, all that's going to be gone. So we're not going to help 6-month-old babies. We're not going to help old people. We're going to talk about waste, fraud, and abuse and say that these recipients are that. Let me just say this. My time is running out, so I want to give my colleagues some credit for what they have done. They've used TANF funds and diverted it to fund anti-abortion clinics. They've had a stingy child tax credit where they left 19 million of the very, 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 very poorest children with no assistance. Every Republican voted for a budget which requires $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid, which is the same amount we spend on Medicaid for all children. They also voted for $230 billion in cuts to SNAP, which provided an estimated $44 billion in 2016 to help families with children buy groceries. You want to know something? My time is short, and I have a lot of complaints. But I do know I joined this committee because I knew that there would be people on this committee that would get back to the primary goal of TANF is to keep babies and children from starving and being outdoors. And now we are abandoning that purpose. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I would yield back.